Homework with Friends is back. Homework with Friends is back.
Little idiots.
I thought you grabbed a snack, but Homework with Friends is back. Ayo, 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 ayo.
Yeah.
It must be Wednesday.
Well, it'll be Wednesday for them.
Well, yeah.
Tuesday right now.
We gotta talk and recordy talk, man. They know it's
Wednesday. Happy hump day.
Happy hump day. Are you driving right now?
You sleeping?
Are you on the train?
Are you friends with us? So you play this, but then mute it.
Just so we get the listens.
Just so we get the listens.
We're staying pretty consistent with people listening.
Yeah.
We haven't hit growth in a little while, a couple weeks, but that's fine.
Oh no.
I figured we're a real episode 10 and on kind of podcast.
Oh yeah, episode 10's where it's gonna hit off.
You ever listen to the beginning of a podcast? It's rough. We've already hit a rough patch. Not a rough patch. I'd say, I don't know.
It's harder than people think. It's harder than I thought it would be.
Well, I think our specific concept is difficult. So just to jump into it, how's it going? This is Logan.
Hey, this is Dalton.
Welcome to Homework with Friends. This is episode 9. This is going to be the Canada special. This is a podcast in which two guys just assign each other homework every week because a few months ago it sounded fun. And now we are consistently down to the wire on getting the homework done.
And now it's actual homework.
And now it's, with no credit.
Nothing's coming back to us.
I do. Every time I finish the assignment, though, I do get a kick out of what I've learned.
So do I. Kinda.
I do like learning the new things. And I like to think people out there like learning the new things. But
I think they do. Like, speaking of people out there, I got a message from a listener today.
Oh, great.
I'll go ahead and read it. This comes from August Fagerstrom. We went to school together. We knew each other pretty well at the beginning of high school. He was a year older than me. We ran cross country together, but then he ended up quitting cross country, and we kind of stayed in touch, but not a whole lot.
One of those pals. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Very surprised that he sent a message to me on Instagram today and said, just wanted to reach out and tell you that A, love the podcast, B, loved Victory Lap. You and Logan have great chemistry together and are seriously funny and good writers. Keep it up, dude. You have a fan here in Milwaukee. Hope all is well.
What?
Yeah.
That feels so good.
It does. It's nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
If you don't know, Victory Lap is my and Dalton's web series.
Yeah.
Working on season 2 right now, but that's great to hear.
It's funny to get the people don't even remember that I exist.
It is the same. I don't know if I gave him a shout out earlier, but right when we dropped the first 3 episodes, Lance McCrory, if you're out there and you're still listening, shot me a real nice DM after the first episode dropped, saying kind of the same sentiment, like, hey, this is great, really like it, listened to a lot of podcasts, and this one sounds like it's already hitting a stride. Mm-hmm. So keep sending those.
It makes us feel good.
Those feel good to get.
Yeah. It gave me a little spark to get through my homework. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, because
and
that is a good point too. And I was actually listening to an interview today, and this is going to sound like I'm more down in the dumps and stuff than I am. If anything, I think the podcast is one of the best things creatively we got going right now.
Yeah.
If not the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to an interview with some people who make a bunch of videos on YouTube and stuff, and talked about their dips and flows throughout, and how they had to kind of avoid either selling out because it wasn't their brand, or what they were doing wasn't popular anymore.
You give me money, I'll sell out.
Well, anyway, they were saying that at a certain point they started sticking their nose up at smaller channels and stuff like that, going I wouldn't want to be there again.
Yeah.
And then they kind of ended up putting themselves in check during the interview, going well, if at least one person gives a shit about it, that's kind of cool.
Keep doing it.
Yeah. So I do it for that one person out there who gives a shit.
Yeah, just that one.
And
it's your mom.
It's you, Mom. Thanks for listening.
That's both of our moms.
Yeah. My mom does listen to every episode. She's an avid super fan.
I think mine does.
But let's talk a little bit about our sponsors for this week.
Sponsors for the week.
Well, the same sponsor, right?
Yeah, we have the same sponsor.
Yeah, so Annette, if you're out there and you're listening, we're going to get to your wine next week.
We'll get there.
The 19 Crimes of Wine.
Yeah, and read the stories.
Yeah, we'll get to that for next week. But we did have kind of a weird overlap with superfan Rod O'Toole in New York.
Superfan Rod O'Toole. He's a comedian out of New York City.
Yeah, studies at UCB.
Look him up at the YouTube.
Look him up at the YouTube. He's got some really funny stand-up.
Unless you're in New York, then go. Sure, you could find him.
But we had read his email to Dalton a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But he had shot me a follow-up, either out of guilt or out of equity, to kind of match some of the money that he'd sent to Dalton to me to give me a little wine challenge.
Yeah.
So my challenge from Rod for this week was it was called the Working Man's Challenge.
Okay.
So he put in his email that he wanted me to, he sent me $10 and I had to find what I would consider the working man's wine, which is a Quail Oak Merlot.
Look at that.
It's $3.49 at the Jewel Osco, which he also told me to go to. He used to live in our area. In addition to that, I also bought a $1.49 Tall Boy PBR.
Okay.
Because I figured that's probably truly the working man's wine.
Yeah. That's absolutely the working man's wine.
It's an on-sale, discounted PBR. So I went ahead and bought that, guzzled that down before the podcast. And then in addition to that, he had me go across the street to the CVS and buy a Streetwise from the man who sells them there.
I avoid those people at all costs.
Well, you might still avoid them after this. But if you don't know, in Chicago there is a publication known as Streetwise, where these vendors will basically sell these magazines. Not basically, they just do. They sell these magazines on the corner for $2.
Basically sell them.
Technically
they basically sell them.
like they metaphorically sell you these magazines and then also literally do it. But they sell these mags for $2, and from reading today, they have basically all the upcoming events for the next month, which is pretty handy, especially in the summertime in Chicago where there's 5 bajillion fests every single weekend. In addition to that, they do like thought pieces, things like that. Literally, I've never bought one before. If I'm being honest, don't think I'll buy one again, just due to the internet existing.
Yeah.
But
the internet is the thing.
Rod told me to pick out 3 things I learned from the Streetwise.
Do you think that Rod bought the Streetwise a lot?
I can see him buying the Streetwise.
He seems like a Streetwise guy.
He's a real Streetwise cat. So let's see. What did I do? What I got here? So I'll say that one for last.
Did you cut him out?
I just ripped him out so I didn't bring the whole magazine.
Huh. All right.
Flip through them. What?
Kind of desecrated the Streetwise.
It really disrespected it. So the first thing I learned about Streetwise is they try to teach their vendors financial literacy.
That's nice.
So
that's good.
So basically, just so you know out there, if you're a Chicago peep, a Streetwise vendor buys their copy of Streetwise for 90 cents, and then they sell it for $2, and then they get the full $1.10.
What a story.
Yeah, so that's what I learned that.
You guys are getting a real bonus piece of knowledge.
This is good shit. I also learned that the Streetwise Associates Board hosts a party called the Cool Party.
Is that what was going on down the street today?
Was it the Cool Party?
I don't know. It was closed off. I just saw a bunch of people.
No, the Cool Party is going to be on June 23rd at the Chop Shop.
That's so soon.
Yeah, I know. We should go to the Cool Party. But the concept for the Cool Party was inspired by the city in which it's being held. The cool city, baby.
That's what they call us, the
Chicago,
cool city.
The cool city.
Because we got all that wind.
It's meant to be the ultimate celebration of the Chicago artistic scene, combining art, music, food, drinks, and prizes. Just as Streetwise vendors are the heart of the city.
Posted outside CVS's everywhere.
This event must honor the heart of Chicago. It's gritty, it's unique, and it's a musical and creative scene. And from this, the name for the event was born. The Creative Outlets of Life, also known as Cool.
Cool.
So I learned about the Cool Party. Cool Party's coming up. And then I also
Obviously, we should go to that.
I kind of want to go to the Cool Party.
So do I.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this issue of Streetwise had a a feature, a centerfold, if you will.
About a person?
Yeah, just a Streetwise vendor sprawled out, spread eagle.
It was a
on the
vendor?
No, so the name, I was doing a Playboy joke.
I got you.
Yeah, it was really funny.
That landed. I'm laughing.
So what they did was they probably sent out reporters for Streetwise to a bunch of different locations where there's Streetwise vendors.
How do you think you get that gig?
I don't know. I guess you just work your way up the ranks as a Streetwise vendor. But they went to several Streetwise vendors and talked to them about their experience being a Streetwise vendor.
Uh-oh.
So it was a day in the life of a Streetwise vendor. When I went up and bought the magazine, I did, and the guy said, "Day in the life of a Streetwise vendor." And I thought that was like his thing when he got money. Like, day in the life, just getting money, selling mags.
just getting dough.
And then I looked at the cover. I was like, hey, this is you. And he's like, yep. Rod's thing said, strike up small conversation if you can with the Streetwise vendor.
Was that the small conversation?
That was the smallest.
I don't think you put in that much effort.
I didn't. But anyway, so this is what this guy has to say about this. This is Russell. I won't say his last name. I don't feel I need to say his full name. There's no secret to selling. Be out there, be consistent, take rejection. So what if people say no? I had a lady who came back and gave me $1. If he had chastised her and said the magazine was $2, I would have ruined the relationship. So I let it go.
That's nice.
Yeah, so you know what? Russell's out there. You know what he saw? He got to see Scottie Pippen.
Hey, I'd like to see Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen.
That's cool.
Kind of neat. So Russell's kind of living the dream.
Yeah. He's a working man.
Go Russ.
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty streetwise.
Yeah. It is streetwise.
Talk about your wine.
I got my task was to get something different from a wine from a different country than the normals. No California, no Italian. I got a Chilean cab.
Ooh.
Oh, that's all I got to say about it. I don't know anything about it. I didn't do any research on it. I did what he wanted. I got a Chilean cab.
What's the brand of
I don't know.
I know it. I used to get it all the time.
Gato Negro.
It's El Gato Negro.
Yeah.
It's the Black Cat.
The Black Cat.
That's I used to have a little collection of those bottles.
Why?
Because I don't know why that slipped.
Were you 19?
I was 22.
Was it in your frat house, bro?
No.
It was a frat house. You lived in a frat house when you were 22.
I did. And then for the next 3 years I did. But basically, I had gotten it.
Yes.
That same bottle is that the Gato
This
Negro
one? This bottle?
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah. Did they recycle the bottles? Did you?
Yeah, I had that
one?
same one. If you'll see it, I put a little thing that says Dalton sucks on the bottom. No, the same brand, and I busted it out at not a work function, but like some people were over at the apartment from work, and we were all hanging out and drinking. And I think everybody else was kind of like in that mid-20s, got a drink, nice stuff kind of vibe.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And I
Like
was just,
what we're in right now.
yeah, oh, so nice. But I was like ripping Gato Negro from the bottle. It's
Classic.
a twist-off bottle. It doesn't even have a cork.
Yep, twist off.
And I believe where I got it from was like $4.50 or something like
A
that.
little bit pricier here at the Jewel.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got $4.50, and then a guy came up. He said, "You know, you gotta stop drinking like a college kid." And then I doubled down. I just brought Gato Negro to everything from that point on.
This'll show him.
Yeah, so I remember like, so that one's red for the cap, but then like the white, it has like a yellow cap, and then I think the Merlot has a blue one, and then something else had like a light blue.
So something in your head said, I gotta collect these.
I was like, these look kind of cool. These are like all the primary colors. So then I ended up.
Did you clear them out and put little string lights inside of them?
You just beat me to my next point. That was the plan. I was gonna make little.
Of course it was.
I was gonna make little lamps for my room.
Did you ever?
No.
Did you get some hot candle wax and dribble it around the outside too?
That would look kind of cool. Use them as long candlestick holders for like dinner candles. No, I never. They literally. I had them and I moved them from room to room for the 2 years I lived at this apartment place.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess 3. And then as I was moving out, I just threw them away. But I always put them on like a nightstand. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I always had them out as if they didn't just look like empty wine bottles. Like I would clean up other cans and other shit that would get into my room, but I'd be like, no.
Those have to stay.
These are crafts.
Those need string lights.
So I guess don't throw that bottle out.
Starting the collection back up.
So I guess let's talk a little bit about homework. Maybe not. We don't need to get into the homework this week, but I did have a little prompt.
What? What is it?
Well, you sounded mad.
What is it? What do you mean?
Dalton just got up and flexed on me.
What?
What?
What's the prompt? Why are you preparing shit and not telling me about
he's shoving me in a locker right now. But no, so I, based on today, so this is coming out on Wednesday. We're recording literally the night before. We are getting down to the wire. We've done this, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks in a row. When we first started this podcast, we were a week ahead of time most of the time, if not just like 4 days ahead of time. And I would like to say it's because we like, we need the extra time to finish stuff, and we're putting in so much extra work. I came home from work today at 5 p.m. And at work I had printed off a couple articles related to my homework assignment, but that was at 4:55, so I read them on the train on the way home. I came in and you hadn't done your homework either. We knew we had to record tonight. I think I know what's going on. This has become the class that we know we can get by with the minimum effort.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, we both got home yesterday and just sat around in the dark in the air conditioning for
seriously nothing. I played a video game for a little bit. I napped, aka watched YouTube videos on my bed. I mean, not that I don't know what's going on. Like, I absolutely can assess the situation. It's like similar to last week.
Yeah,
we're in a little funky moods.
We are
figuring stuff out.
I feel like if people saw me from where I was like a month or so ago, they'd be like, "Well, you're in a weird place." I got my hair's getting real long.
Yeah,
I got my beard's fully getting flushed out again.
Kind of same.
Like I'm letting myself go.
Mine's in the same thing.
Yeah, my hair. I can put my hair in my mouth now.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see.
Let me see put my hair.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dalton's about that. Oh, his hair's in his mouth.
Yeah.
He's not lying. I haven't worked out as diligently as I have since the phys ed episode.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is besides just kind of like, it's like a combination of being lazy.
Yeah, something's happening.
I think being like a little discontent. There's no good reason for it.
We're overextending ourselves.
Kind of.
We got 100 projects going on.
Like there's like 100. It's like one of those things where there's 100 projects going on. You and I both have personal projects that we work on. We have 2 things that we work on together. This and the web series, and then you don't see a lot of forward motion all the time. You know what I mean?
We gotta start bringing our sadness to the listeners.
Gotta stop or start?
Stop.
I think it's good for them to know.
Good for them to know the state of their.
We're in the comedy section. They can laugh at this. No, I think it's fine. Okay, so at the risk of sounding too much like a sad sack, I think it's a relatable thing. That's why I'm kind of bringing it up. Like, I think everybody out there has those things that, you know, they really want to do, but it's not working out, but they got to chip away at it. And one thing I always...
Keep chipping, guys.
I struggle with thinking about is... I don't know if you've ever seen those, like, I don't know, they're kind of like inspirational posts, or they're like these little photos, or people giving advice to their past selves, and they go like, I would just tell myself not to worry about it.
I don't see those.
You never seen those?
No, I don't think so.
Have you ever heard advice from like an older person?
Yeah.
And they go like, what would I tell my like 20-something-year-old self? Is like, don't stress out about it. It'll all work out.
They don't think that's true.
Well, I know it's not true, because I guarantee you they stress the fuck out all the time. It's the worst advice in the world for people to go, don't worry, it's going to work out. You know why it worked out? It's because you were stressed out and you did something.
Yeah, you know what I say? Just keep plugging away at it, and you know what? Let yourself go a little bit. If you're a guy, grow your beard out, grow your hair out. Let yourself go, but keep working on the stuff that you're trying to get to. If you're a gal, do the same thing.
Yeah.
Stop putting makeup on, grow the pits out.
If to use nautical terms, let that anchor drop. See how deep the ocean goes.
Just really see how far you can let yourself go.
All right, this week
I'm on the way, baby.
I can hear the chains clinking.
That anchor's dropping fast. My loved ones are yelling, we gotta stop it! We gotta stop it!
He's going, that was underwater, Dalton.
That's me going, don't stop it!
All right, let's talk
I like this!
let's talk about homework.
What about it? You had a prompt? What's your prompt? Was that the prompt?
That was a prompt.
That was the prompt?
Well, we kind of got past prompt.
What?
We're rambling now.
What's the prompt?
Okay, so I was going to talk.
We can go quickly.
I was going to talk about, like, did you ever have a class in high school where, like, maybe it was every class, but you just procrastinated intentionally on that class because you knew you could get it done? High school or college?
Mostly all of them in high school, except for, like, anatomy. Yeah. Pretty much all of high school.
Like down to the wire?
Yeah, definitely 100% down to the wire. College.
Did you ever wake up early, like in the middle of the night, to do homework?
Yes. Oh, that was more college. College was always down to the absolute wire, with easier classes. There were some like sciencey classes that you couldn't do it, but when it came to like communications classes and anything that involved a lot of like paper writing and stuff like that, I was finishing it 6 minutes before class and then hauling ass to class.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I would 100% always like write like a page of an 8-page paper and then be like, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. and write a page an hour, and then I'll be set for class. Like, it was always stuff like that.
Yeah, I had the same thing, mainly in college too. Like there was a period of time in high school where I would like really try to wake up early and do my homework at like 4. Like do my homework from like 4 to 6.
In the morning?
Yeah, I just hated doing it at night so much. I like hanging out playing video games too much. So I would get up at like 4, do my homework for like 2 hours until like 6, and then go to bed again. Like then I would like basically get dressed and just go lay down in my bed and nap until I had to go to the bus.
Huh. Look at that.
Didn't do it for that long. But then in college, there was, especially like film papers, because you don't have to cite anything.
Yeah.
You could just be
when there wasn't any citations needed, that was the bomb.
When it's like an opinion piece, I remember
Spit it out.
Like my crowning achievement was I think I pooped out like a 6 to 8 page paper in like 45 minutes. I was just like, zoo.
Yeah, that was, and then, that's how I would get, because I would be like, wake up at 6, write a page an hour, and then I'll be set, and then it would be like, my alarm would go off, and be like, I'll just wake up at 7, write like a page and a quarter every hour, and it was like, it got to the point where I was like, I gotta crank out 4 pages per hour.
All right, you ready for homework times?
Yeah, whatever.
All right, so this week was the Canada special. I was tasked with learning about the Canadian immigrant experience. You know, going out there and interviewing a true Canadian immigrant.
Did you do it?
Yes, I did. For those of you who don't know, my sister-in-law is a Canadian immigrant.
Really set up for success on this one.
That was intentional based on last week, because we had said before the podcast, like, hey, let's do something easy on ourselves. Like, let's just pick a topic ahead of time. And guess who just interviewed his sister-in-law 2 hours ago? This guy. Your homework.
We're not doing a good job of making ourselves very redeemable in this episode.
I think we're fine.
Hey, whatever. My homework, if I remember correctly, was to just talk about history of Canada and Canada itself a little bit, and then get into the tariff situation that's going on right now.
Yeah, I want to learn about
U.S.-Canada tariff situation.
So, who was head of the class last week? Was I head of the class?
You are, yeah.
Oh, wow. So, you know what? I think I'll go first.
Okay, good.
Let's spice this up. So, I went ahead and I shaped this like a special report.
Logan's special report. You want to be a journalist now?
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
I want to send this right to NPR Chicago,
I want to send this right to Streetwise?
Yeah, to Streetwise on the street beat. So this is a pre-recorded segment, full disclosure. But by pre-recorded, I did record it about a half an hour ago. So it's not too...
just play it.
Immigration has been a contentious topic in the United States for a long time, and while our current president is drawing ire for his contemptuous actions at our southern border, it's time to draw some attention to our neighbors to the north. This is a Homework with Friends special report on Canada. Canadians first started migrating to the States in droves like many do, for work. In 1867, migrants came en masse to America at the beginning of industrialization. A reported 747,000 English-speaking and 440,000 French-speaking immigrants came. Immigration stalled out as the country progressed and similarly slowed down after the Depression and World War II. However, in the latter half of the 20th century, America saw another boom in Canadian migration, especially in the 1990s with the American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, where it became more simple for Canadian workforce to export their talents to the States, notably in the field of higher education, both as professors and students. The student visa is acquired through a sponsorship of a university for qualifying students, and those on work visas must express exceptional skills in the following areas: business, science, education, arts, athletic, professorial work, research, or be PhD holders. So, essentially, skilled workers. It can be much more difficult for those to find work in trades or other labor-related work. From a 2012 to 2016 census, it was of note that the states with the most Canadian immigrants were California with 16% of the population, Florida with 14%, and New York with 7%, Los Angeles, New York City, and Miami being the hotbeds, respectively. Canadian immigrants are some of the most likely immigrants to become college graduates, and their median household income is well above the average for the typical American household. That said, Canadians are no more likely to become naturalized as American citizens, meaning to gain full U.S. citizenship. Naturalization is not entirely common for Canadians, about 46%, and many opt to maintain the status of lawful permanent resident, or what we more commonly refer to as the green card. Work and school is one way to get a green card, but we all know of another way to get one.
Yes.
Okay, so how did you get your green card?
Oh, well, I got married. I got married to an American.
I'm speaking with R.C. Terrio, my sister-in-law. She moved to the States in 2014 to attend Columbia College in Chicago on a student visa. In Chicago, she met my brother Tyler in 2015, and they married each other in 2017. I asked R.C. about the green card process.
It's funny because a lot of times I talk to other immigrants about it, and they're like, oh, it must be easy, you know, as soon as you get married to an American, they think you get automatic citizenship, and it's really not like that. When me and Tyler got married at the courthouse, so we got married in January because my other OPT visa was expiring not too long after that. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to make sure I was in this time space that I would still be able to work. So we timed it so that when my OPT expired, then my green card would kick right in. And we timed it correctly because, like, I think a week after my OPT expired, my green card kicked in. So that's why we had to, like, get married at the courthouse, and it was a very long process. I had to go through these medical exams. I had to, and those medical exams I had to pay out of pocket. I couldn't have insurance for it. And then I had to, we had to have interviews and fill out like so many forms. And it was funny because all the forms basically was just having your birthday, writing down your birthday all over again in like all these different forms.
So it's like a first grade class. And now do the alphabet.
Yeah, because it was just like filling out all the same information. And then Tyler had to do a lot of work too. He had to prove that he was financially able to support me if anything happened. Mm-hmm. So I think they watch a lot for it. They don't want like immigrants being how you say, like hard, this on the system, you know, like they want you to be able to like support yourself. So Tyler had to like be like, oh, like I have this car, I have like, they were like, what are your assets, like how much do you make it? So it was very intrusive. And Tyler, I remember Tyler coming back from filling out those paperwork, and he was like, oh, they were like checking all my like W-2s, and I was like, well, I had to go to the doctor and they really check it up like everything. Like they took blood tests, they took like everything. So yeah, it was very intrusive. And I remember when I went to the doctor, I was really not prepared that day. I thought that it was just like an initial process. They're like, now we're going to take multiple blood tests. And they also obligated me to get, because it was during the winter, so I had to get flu shots. So I also had to pay for all of that. So it was a very intrusive process. So, I mean, I get for Tyler financially, it was intrusive, but for me, like physically and like, you know, they go over everything, background check. And then during the interview, so we had so after a while, so you submit all those forms and you submit your medical records. Mm-hmm. And then after a few months, they schedule an interview, and then when the interview is like the important process, that's where really they determine like if you guys are a real couple or not. So me and Ty prepared, like I memorized his social security number, his phone number, his birthday, and then you sit in front of this guy that's just asking you all these questions about your relationship. And I mean, for me and Tyler, it wasn't that hard because we had a real relationship, so it was not, but still I had to learn like his phone number by heart, which is comes in handy at some point.
Yeah. When you borrow someone's phone.
Yeah.
Hey, so look at that. The U.S. is looking out for you, crazy kids.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah. and then they had this. They had this. I showed this picture of like our families together. Mm-hmm.
That's like from Thanksgiving. Yep. Yeah,
and then at that point when I showed that picture, they were like, oh, okay, like the guy basically told me like, hey, you guys are like fine. Well, you'll get your green card in the mail in like two weeks, but it was still like pretty stressful because it was like super early in the morning, and then we didn't have a lawyer. We decided to do everything by ourselves because I mean we didn't have an extra $2,000 to spare for a lawyer.
Do a lot of people do immigration lawyers just to kind of shepherd through the process?
Absolutely, because it's a lot of forms. It can be very intimidating, but my case was pretty straightforward because I mean we had been together forever. At that time that we applied for a green card, and then it was just we had a lot of stuff to back it up, and then I didn't have any felonies, and the time I was in the U.S. was very like, I mean, I didn't commit any crime or anything, so I think like when your case is pretty forward, we don't really need like a lawyer, so we decided to like, you know, keep that money, and then I bought this book on Amazon to help us go through the process and understand the forms, because the forms are very tricky. Yeah. And I think they make it like confusing, probably on purpose, so that, you know. But yeah, so that was that.
Oh, do you feel like it's set up as kind of like a weed out process?
Absolutely. And then when we were even like, I was having a hard time filling these forms, and I was like, okay, like there's so many people that immigrated here, like it can't be that difficult. And you really just have to sit down and like read through the forms. And like I said, I bought this book to like help me like understand exactly what I need to do. And we had to start over like a few times where, we had to have these nights where like, okay, tonight we're filling out forms, because there was that many. I think there was, Tyler posted a picture of us on Instagram where it was like this folder thick of like all these forms we had to fill out.
Goodness.
So, and I think it's good because like really, if it was too easy, a lot of people would immigrate here, and you really do need to like weed out that process of like, okay, well, if you want to immigrate here, like, back it up. And you have to back up your relationship. Absolutely. So we had to save like, bills of like nights we went to like, at hotels or like restaurants or stuff like that, just so that and then a lot of pictures, a lot of pictures, so that they knew that we had been together for a while and that, we had a real relationship.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because I feel like you always see that on like TV shows where they do that trope where they're trying to get the marriage and they're like, we got to fake all these pictures real quick. So they really do go through all those pictures.
I mean, we had over 200 pictures with us, but
wow.
As soon as they saw the pictures of Tyler's and my family together, they were like, okay.
That's when they're like, this is for reals.
Exactly. I mean, I think they just know, like, at some point, like, that if a relationship is real or not, and, you just,
you gotta
they
do
didn't
it for
even
the
look
gram.
at our rent or our lease or anything, so I think it's just something you can feel, and when you have, like, two people in front of you, they're faking it, like, if they're, but we had nothing to hide, so it was not that. It was stressful for sure, but it went really good. So
that's good. So would you say it was like a smooth process, but it was difficult?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was. We got married in January. I got my green card end of June, so it was a 6-month process. And then even then, it could have taken longer. Like I'm hearing about people waiting like over a year for their green card. So
oh my God.
What me and Tyler did, because we had a wedding plan, like the actual like wedding with the big white dress in Canada. So we wrote to the senator of Illinois, Dick Durbin, and he was so helpful. Like I had one of my friends from France that he did the same process. He got married to an American, and he told me, he was like, you know what, you just message Dick Durbin, he'll help you out. And so that's what I did, and he was very, very helpful.
Wow. I didn't even know you guys did that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so because Tyler emailed him, I emailed him, and we got, I think, our interview date like a week after.
Boom.
Yeah, so very grateful to Dick Durbin. Very good guy.
Hey, so politics work.
They do, yeah, they do.
So I read an interesting statistic about kind of people who get their green card, is that it's a 10-year thing, right?
So at first so if you've been married less than 2 years, you get a 2-year green card. That's what I'm on now.
Okay.
So next year I need to reapply for another 10-year green card. So it's just because I've been married for not that long. They just want to make sure, that, but you can get it renewed for sure.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I read that, but I also read that most Canadian immigrants, I think it's like 54% choose to always just renew the green card and never even like seek citizenship, or I guess they call it naturalization. Would you think you're ever going to naturalize?
I mean, I think, because you need to be a green card holder for 5 years before asking for citizenship. And I think, that if I've been for the U.S. for that long, I think it would be, a natural process to, get naturalized. Now, of course, I'll always be Canadian in my heart, but I think it's like when you live in a country for that long, I think it's a certain, how do I say, like, I mean, I don't want to undermine other, because it's very personal. It's very, very personal. But I feel like if I live in America, I want to be able to partake in voting. I want to be able to, like, be part of where I live. And I think it's kind of like this respect thing, because, you know, I've met people that have lived in America for a few years and they're still complaining about stuff. And I think, you know, if you're a guest somewhere, you owe it to that country to just be respectful, and you're entitled to your opinions. But I think if you're, especially like a guest, you know, you're not American, that you should be grateful that you're allowed into that country, and just to kind of assimilate. For sure. Now, I'll always be Canadian. I'll always be French Canadian. I'll always speak my language, but I'll always have a huge respect for the country that has welcomed me here. So, definitely being American, it would be, I mean, it's a big step, but I don't think it's something that's impossible for the future, for sure.
It's like the melting pot, you know? Mm-hmm. Takes a little while to melt in.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, well, my final question for you is, why is Justin Trudeau such a hunk?
I don't know. He's just, he is quite handsome. I think in this, especially in this political climate, he's the prince we all need. I think he's just a great contrast with everything that's happened. And I can't believe Trump traded him for Kim Jong-un. I'm so pissed because how can you do that?
What a downgrade.
God. It is. I mean, whatever. You know, he does what he does. But in my books, Canada and America will always be great allies, great friends. And of course, Justin Trudeau will always be a super duper prince.
This concludes the Homework with Friends special report. That was my homework.
What a great interview.
Thank you.
Yeah. RC was great.
You hated everything else around it.
I did it. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I really liked it. Wow, what a hassle. That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Having to go through all that.
Right? I think so many people, just based on, like, I always think back to, like, Tom Haverford's situation.
Yeah, sitcoms are too flippant with what they do with green card marriages.
Because it's like, I didn't think about the immigration lawyer. I didn't think about how just absolutely difficult and mind-boggling the paperwork has got to be. Mm-hmm. I didn't think about how, she used the word a couple times, but it's probably the best word for it, but intrusive it all seems. Just to have somebody be like, are you really together all the time?
Yeah, you got to be really... I feel like green card marriages can't be as common as they make them out to be on TV.
No, I don't think they are.
You got to be really into somebody to go through all that.
I feel like people might abuse it, like as far as maybe one party of the two or trying to become naturalized more than the other, but not really. Especially Canadians, because based on what I learned through the research and kind of touched on it in the special report is, I mean, a lot of them are here for work. And they're making more money than us here for the most part. Like, they're more educated for the most part. They're really here by choice a lot of the times. The Canadian immigrants are. So it's a tricky process and all, though. She's just a gal who came here for school. She fell in love with a guy. And she got to go through all that just to prove that they can get married.
Yeah, just to be with him.
But yeah, that was my homework.
You think that it's as complicated in like other countries to immigrate?
No clue. Didn't look that up.
Well, I wasn't asking for facts. I was asking if you think.
I've heard it is difficult to migrate to countries that have like universal health care and stuff.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
So I've heard Canada's pretty tough. I mean, I've felt it at the border be pretty tough. but I'm not 100% sure. Like the whole naturalization process is tricky. I would assume, since we're a relatively young country, that we adopted some processes from other people.
Yeah.
Like I almost would assume like the marriage thing comes from some pretty old school like laws around citizenship. And then just kind of like the rights granted and the ability to vote. I think even overseas is much more like blood related to the nation than ours is. But
man, I hope that if someday I fall in love with a lady and want to get married, that we don't have to go through all that. I hope that we're both from the same country or something.
You usually have to wait to the end for the paperwork. Am
I
right?
know. I don't want to do all the paperwork. I got no problem. I'll go immigrate somewhere else, but I don't want to fill out all the stuff.
No one wants to hire a lawyer at the beginning of a marriage.
That sounds annoying.
All right, let's hear your homework, my man.
My homework. Okay. So there's too much history for Canada, so we're gonna get a very brief history. So Canada became entirely self-governing within the British Empire in 1931. So not too long ago. If you think relatively,
like emancipated.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
The full legislation of independence was not achieved until 1982.
Whoa.
So very recently.
Who knows this stuff?
What?
I didn't know that.
Why would you know?
That's wild.
Why would you know anything
1982, they're independent?
Yeah, that's when they attained the right to amend its own constitution. So, and then Canada is the second largest country in the world after Russia.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Occupying roughly the northern 2/5 of the continent of North America. But despite Canada's size, it's one of the world's most sparsely populated countries.
I knew that.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Northern Territory.
Yeah. The current population is roughly 37 million people.
Okay.
And that puts it at the 38th largest country in the world. And it's predominantly English and French speaking, which I would assume you also knew.
Yeah.
Now this is going to be a mouthful right here.
Okay, let's go for it.
Ready? Canada has a parliament system within the context of a constitutional monarchy. The monarchy of Canada being the foundation of the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. The Canadian monarchy is a separate legal institution from the monarchy of the United Kingdom, though the two offices are held by the same individual. The sovereign is Queen Elizabeth II. As such, the Queen's representative, the Governor General of Canada, at the present time that's Julie Payet, carries out most of the federal royal duties in Canada, and then in practice, their use of the executive power is directed by the Cabinet, a committee of ministers of the Crown responsible to the elected House of Commons of Canada and chosen and headed by the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
But
so
it had to be said. Yeah.
There's a queen.
There's queen.
Who appoints a governor.
Yeah.
And then the governor is bossed around by the parliament?
Pretty essentially the parliament does all the actual stuff, but the queen's there to sport her power whenever she
That's
needs.
so weird that the queen is still over Canada.
It's really, I think it's in dire situations. I think it would be like our martial law type situations.
She's still on their money.
Yeah.
They hate it.
They don't like it. They want to put Trudeau on their money.
Yeah, they do.
So Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. So the main difference between those is a province is allotted more autonomy for governing social programs such as healthcare, education, and welfare. And they received this power under the Constitution Act of 1867. And then territories are governed and delegated by the Parliament of Canada. So the provinces are Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Labrador. My favorite ones. Those are dogs.
Oh,
Yeah.
rough.
Nova Scotia, Ontario, Prince Edward Island,
Oh,
Quebec, and Saskatchewan. And then the territories are the Northwest Territory, Nunavut, and Yukon.
Oh.
And these are, now I'm going to hit you with just a couple fun facts about Canada. I guess I just want, more so one fun fact, and then the other one's a list.
Okay.
The fun fact is a bear cub named Winnipeg was exported from Canada to the London Zoo in 1915. A little boy named Christopher Robin Milne loved to visit Winnipeg, or Winnie for short. His love for the bear inspired the stories written by his father, A.A. Milne, about Winnie the Pooh.
What?
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh's Canadian.
Oh, bother.
What do you know about that?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. That's great to know now. I love Winnie the Pooh.
All right.
That's something I don't think you know about me.
And then the next, a list of famous Canadian. Do you like Winnie the Pooh?
I love him.
Why?
My granddad's girlfriend Sandy loved him. So
What?
there's always Winnie the Pooh stuff around.
I have very vivid memories of that Winnie the Pooh movie where they go to the scary forest.
Ooh, that's spooky.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do know
That
what
was
you're talking
terrifying.
about. Yeah, they get at him. Anyway, continue.
And next, this is a list of famous Canadians. Jim Carrey.
Alrighty then.
Ryan Reynolds.
Alrighty then.
Avril Lavigne.
Alrighty then.
Justin Bieber.
Alrighty then.
Drake.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
He's a rapper. He just says it.
Seth Rogen.
Alrighty then.
Keanu Reeves.
Alrighty then.
Pam Anderson.
Alrighty then.
Celine Dion.
Alrighty then.
And this one I didn't know. Maybe everybody else knew this one, but this is my shocker. Ryan Gosling.
Alrighty then.
That doesn't sound like Gosling. You went. I'll give you credit. You went like 50. You went like 50% on those.
Yeah.
For decent accents.
Yeah, I was just goofing.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad at all.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll give you a B+ for that.
Spicing the bit up.
Spicing those bit ups. Did you know Ryan Gosling's from Canada?
Kind of. He's from Vancouver, isn't he?
No, London. London, Canada.
London, Ontario?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's where he was born, at least. I don't know where he grew up. Get over it.
I knew he stayed at Justin Timberlake's house when they were in the Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh, I don't care.
They were like little roomies.
The tariff situation.
I want to know.
All right. So, as some of you may have seen in the news recently on Twitter or in podcasts on the news channel, maybe on the news app and other news outlets.
Wherever you get your news, it's fine.
Wherever you get your news from, we won't judge you. Maybe we will. There's a little bit of a situation between the U.S. and Canada right now, and it keeps revolving around this word tariff.
Yeah.
Tariff. And if some people might not know what that is. If you don't know what a tariff is, it's a tax on an import or export between sovereign states. So it pretty much means, yeah, we're charging more money when you're importing or exporting something from somebody where we have an agreement with.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on right now is that in early June, President Trump announced a steel and aluminum tariff on Canada. So they're gonna bump it up, and Canada was not happy about that. So Prime Minister Trudeau, my bad.
Prime Minister Chody.
the wine's kicking in.
Kind of over here, by the way. Full disclosure.
What?
I'm feeling a little loose.
Me too. Announced that Canada will implement $12.8 billion worth of retaliatory tariffs.
Whoa.
So they were like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Watch what we do now. We're Canada. We win at hockey, and we're going to win at this.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So just wanted to give a short list of some goods that will be included in those in those new taxed items. This is a very diverse list, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, from all Canadian exports.
What's that?
All Canadian
I think
exports?
it's imports.
Oh, imports to here, but what they're exporting.
No, imports from here. So Canadian imports.
Yes. I think we're on the same page. Our listeners will get it. And thank you for listening.
I don't think we are on the same page, but we'll keep going. Iron and non-alloy steel, stainless steel, casting or tubing, yogurt, coffee, pizza, and quiche were included together.
Whoa.
Which I thought was interesting.
How many quiches are you sending over the border?
This next one, I just wanted, I put it down because I just wanted to say it. Gherkins.
Gherkin.
Shave gels and lotions, sleeping bags, postcards, lawn mowers, toilet papers, boats, mattresses, ballpoint pens. That's a very limited list of all the stuff that will now have taxes on it. So the biggest losers from the U.S. Canada trade brawl, as you would say, are industrial states in the Midwest, our own homes.
Oh, no.
Where I would assume majority of our listeners are from.
Yeah.
Because that's where we're from.
Yeah.
Ohio would be the hardest hit.
What?
Bummer. That's my favorite state.
Best one in the union.
The best state in the union. The state sent $1.7 billion worth of goods to Canada in 2017 that could fall under the tariffs.
Oh, my God.
I think that puts better into context the import-export thing that we just had a little thing about.
Yeah.
It's imports going into Canada.
Yeah.
You got it?
Also known as exports from the States.
Yes. Got it?
Got it.
Michigan would fall close behind, the worst state in the union.
Yeah.
So who gives a shit about that?
Just kidding to our Michigan listeners. We love you.
We're not.
I am.
With 1.17 billion in goods that would be subjected to tariffs.
Do you have the percentage on the tariff? Like, what's the tariff going to be?
It's all different. Based
Oh,
on
it just
product.
depends on the product.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was. But I mean, even if it's 1%, that's $1 million.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's scary, man.
They're followed by New York, 1.17 billion, Pennsylvania with 1.14 billion, and Illinois, our new home, with 1.02 billion.
Damn.
The tariffs will go into place on July 1st, Canada's government said, and will stay in place until the U.S. removes the steel and aluminum restrictions. So it's really a solid, like little move by Canada.
You know what,
They're not
Canada?
fucking around.
Good fucking jab, my man.
Right?
Or lady. Boom.
People
It's a
always talk about
kidney
Canada
punch.
being nice, but they are tuning us up.
Well, from what I learned from my report, they're all very highly educated and very smart. Well, wait, that's the ones who come to America.
Yeah.
Which, I get it.
They come here to get smart. We're kidding, Canada.
Yeah, we see your little game, but man, oh man. Like, I don't think that guy fucks around. Like, I don't think he enjoys Trudeau at all.
You mean Trump?
Trump. Oh, boy. Working man's mind.
After reading this, I wish that he was our president.
I read a news article the other day that when Trump and Trudeau met recently, Trump said, "Didn't you guys try to burn down the White House one time?" I was like, shut the fuck up. Why would you? That's such like an old man thing to bring up to somebody who's trying to have a different conversation.
Well, yeah, he's an old crazy man. He's an
Didn't
insane person.
your ball get in my lawn one time?
All right, so next on the docket is what I could discern as Trump's reasoning.
Uh-huh.
If it were me, I just would have wrote crazy person.
Yeah.
But he believed that the U.S. was being taken advantage of by Canada, and I have some quotes from Trump here. This first one of which was regarded as pretty much true by all like respectable news sources that you would find, but just a little bit taken out of context. So he tweeted, Canada charges the U.S. a 270% tariff on dairy products. They didn't tell you that, did they? Not fair to our farmers. Which is true. It is around that much. But it's just kind of taken out of context of the situation. So another these are more funny quotes. People living in Canada are coming up to the United States and smuggling things back into Canada because the tariffs are so massive, Trump said Tuesday. The tariffs to get common items back into Canada are so high that they have to smuggle them in. So, yeah, he's just generally freaking out and thinking that Canada's trying to rip us off, and like the classic Trump thing, like, we got to get a better deal.
Yeah. He's the negotiator.
Another little quote. They buy shoes and then they wear them. They scuff them up. They make them sound old and look old. So he thinks they're smuggling shoes.
You're making these shoes sound too old. What does that have to do with anything?
He thinks they're smuggling. He thinks they're ripping us up. I don't know.
What a knucklehead.
That's all I got. That's my homework.
Hey.
That's the general gist of what's going on. I don't know. Like most people are getting fed up with stuff. I just try to stay out of the news right now. Bums me out.
Yeah.
So it was nice to learn about some.
That's good. What were your biggest takeaways?
My biggest takeaways were that it's hard to agree that the U.S. is getting ripped off by Canada.
Yeah.
I think more than likely we'd be the ones ripping them off.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like a power move to try and be like, oh, I got us an even better deal on tariffs with Canada or trade with Canada. And I think that Prime Minister Trudeau is just straight up calling us out and being like, do what you want. Watch what happens when we do this.
There's moves I got.
It's going to heavily affect like a big area of the United States, which, I mean, the Midwest has some pretty strong swing states. So, you know, if he keeps it up, if he doesn't give in to Canada,
yeah,
he
might lose some support.
Hopefully. But other than that, yeah, just general crazy person.
That was interesting to learn.
Yeah.
I learned so much about Canada and the tariffs. You know what I'd say? This has been one of our most informational episodes yet.
You're fucking welcome.
All right, so this takes us to our next portion, and that's grades.
Grades.
If you don't remember how we do the grades, we do it based on 4 categories: accuracy, effort, quality, and whoa. We assign 25 points to each category, or I should say up to 25 points. All the categories are fairly straightforward. We're struggling with accuracy, as it's very difficult unless we research on our own what to assign to that. So everybody usually ends up with about 25. So if you have any ideas out there, homeworkwithfriends@gmail.com is the place to email if you'd like to give us a new category to grade on. And the other one that warrants explanation is whoa, and that basically just means anything that surprised us throughout the other person's homework assignment. So we are going to get into grades in just 1 nanosecond.
All right, and we're back with grades. Idiot.
Getting too loose on that.
I hate our listeners.
All right. Dalton, you owe an apology.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm kidding. I love you.
Dalton's feeling loose, and he's feeling reckless.
I'm getting reckless. I think if we insult them, they'll keep coming back.
Well, let's just not do it still.
No, I'm doing it.
Okay.
I'm going to be the mean guy in the podcast.
Whoa.
Okay.
Angry.
You ready for your grades?
I'm ready.
All right. Accuracy. Get 25 out of 25. I think accuracy is another kind of silly category.
I know.
Because it's always a 25 out of 20.
Just talked about it, yeah.
I thought we talked about or is that what we talked about? Is accuracy?
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. Effort. I gave you 18 out of 25.
Okay.
Just because I knew for a fact that it was rushed.
Yes.
And I think that with a little bit more effort, maybe we could have gotten her in here.
We could have.
Talk to us, Yeah,
She was in New York, which is why I had to call her.
We could have worked around it. Quality. Gave you 23 out of 25. Solid job. The overachieving annoyed me. So.
I know it does. For any other person grading, I would have got some great bonus points for pulling all that together.
You got 2 points off of it.
Sure. It's great.
Maybe you'll learn a lesson for next time. Whoa! I gave you 22 out of 25. I was surprised by a good amount of the stuff, but not shocked by it. I'm not completely blown away.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So that all rounds out to an 88 out of 100.
Whoa!
Solid B+.
That's a good B+.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for your grades?
Yeah.
Okay, accuracy 25. That's it.
That's it. Why even announce it anymore?
I know, right? Quality, I gave you 20.
Okay.
It was a fairly straightforward assignment, but it was a little bit vague at the same time. I liked that you incorporated the two things I wanted to hear about. However, and maybe I'm kind of dipping into effort on this point. I mean, I know you did it a couple of hours ago. And I know you're better than that, bud.
This is the type of assignment that only requires 2 hours of your day.
Yeah, maybe, but you can also you could frame it in a fun way. I will always go back to homework assignment number 1 where you really took it and ran with it. Effort, giving you 18.
Okay.
Same deal.
Yeah, I know.
And then, whoa, I'm giving you a 20.
Okay.
I liked Winnie the Pooh. I liked all the tariff stuff. And I audibly got woed a couple times at the very beginning just with all those crazy facts about the independence. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, no idea of it.
So I think that comes out to 83
total.
total.
In college, that's a B-.
It's a
it's a B.
It's a solid B.
That's a solid B. I'll take a solid B.
So
That's all I've ever wanted.
well, hey,
Head of the
looks
class over there.
Logan's ahead of the class.
Your reign begins.
It looks like old Dalton's the dunce.
I don't think the listeners know how annoying it is to wait for a pause to put in the music.
I don't know if you rolled your eyes as if the microphone could pick that up. So this leads us to our very last section. It is homework for next week.
Yes. Do I go first or you go first?
I'm ahead of the class. I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll take that right.
Okay.
So, if you don't know, and I'm guessing you don't, Dalton's become a little bit of a gamer lately.
By that I've played one video game and haven't played it in 7 days.
Yeah.
I played it for four straight days though.
Dalton's a gamer. He's playing a little bit NBA 2K and he played a little bit of LA Noire.
Yeah.
And gaming gets a bad rep out there, you know? So recently there's a big game out there. It's called Fortnite.
Yeah.
And people are starting to call that it's a mental illness for people who get addicted to video games. So what I want to learn a little bit more about, because the game is so popular, kids are going nuts playing it, is I want to learn a little bit about like the mental illness in video games. Like, is it a real thing? I want to learn about maybe the connection with video games and violence.
Okay.
If that's a real thing. Basically, the connections to video games and mental health, for good or for bad.
Okay.
Because there's also been some positive results for video games, especially like puzzle solving ones, helping like calm people out. So give me that Dalton research on video games and the brain.
Oh, I'm going to have a lot of opinions on these nerds.
And then bonus points. Fortnite did just come out on the Nintendo Switch, which I have a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Because I'm super cool. So bonus points if you play around on it a little bit. See what's going on.
Yeah, I might. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
You ready for your homework?
I'm ready.
Okay. Homework for next week is memorize a monologue from a famous play and perform it on the podcast. It's your choice.
Okay.
You can pick anything you want to. I'd like it to be, like a few minutes long.
Sure.
2 to 3 minute long monologue. Yeah, that's it. No bonus points.
Anything else around it?
If you show up in costume, you can have bonus points.
All right.
No, I just want you to perform it, and then we'll talk about why you picked it, why you memorized it, or like how memorizing it went and stuff like that.
All right, perfect. I'm into it.
Yeah.
All right. So I think this does it for episode 9 of Homework with Friends.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Dalton's got this real oppositional attitude.
I'm going to start saying you're welcome at the end of all these podcasts.
So thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to connect with us, it's homeworkwithfriends@gmail.com, at homeworkpod at Twitter. We're Lake Street Studios on Instagram.
Where you have access to all of our projects.
Yep, and we encourage you to. We're always looking for new sponsors. We're always looking for, and by sponsors we mean people who do Venmo us alcohol. We're always looking for
Venmo us money for alcohol.
Episode ideas. And just as a forewarning, after episode 9, we're going to take a little summer break.
Summer break. It's not what you guys think it's going to be.
Yeah, we'll put another episode out, but it'll just be a little bit different. So that's a little teaser for that. But thank you so much for listening. And as always,
do your homework.
Do your homework. Bye.